Welcome back, everybody. Pleb Talk, episode 9. Let's get right into it.
Yes, I'm Sean.
My name is Asael.
And just in case you haven't been here before and you're a new viewer or new listener, we have to, drink a few beers, get real nice and cozy, get comfortable, and talk about, two topics that we just find interesting. So, first things first, what you wearing today?
Yes, I am wearing a 2018-2019 pre-match Portugal jersey.
I do like it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And the beers today, you want to crack yours open?
Yes.
We got some from the Kona Brewing Company, Kona Longboarder. I don't know if I've had it before. I don't think I have. Maybe I did, but it is on the lighter side, which is kind of exactly what I wanted to. I wanted to be a little more lighter, a little bit more fanfare today.
I agree. I do like the branding that this company has for their beers. They have like 4 different versions of it, and they always have some sort of like surfing-esque
Island
Hawaiian
style.
For the topics today, we will be getting to some kind of interesting ones. I'm sure you guys, I hope you guys haven't thought about this one. Should couples have, or should they get a license or certificate or training before having a baby? That's topic number 1. For number
the next
2.
Topic number 2 is, should sports players be getting paid the $1 million that they should?
And you'll find out very soon.
We'll find out. All right,
cheers.
Buddies. Cheers to that.
All right, man.
What do you think about the beer?
I like it. I do like it. It's very light.
Smooth and crisp.
Yeah, crisp. That's good. That's a good one. Good description. Usually with light beers, man, the taste falls off very soon after taking a sip, and this one is a smooth ride.
Yeah, you're right.
like
You're right. It's once you first taste it, that taste that you get is kind of what you get.
Yeah.
No surprises. That's completely fine.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, man. Look, what do we got? What the freak do we have?
Before we get into our main topics, I just had this one little mini topic I want to talk about. Kind of what we normally do around here is, the great people throughout history.
Yes.
We all know them.
Yes.
Right. I mean, great. I don't mean they're all
good.
Yeah, they're all good. Some are bad. Some are notorious or
infamous.
Infamous. Very good. Hitler, Stalin, Teddy Roosevelt, Jesus, Pontius Pilate.
The list goes on.
The list goes on. You can go on and on about it. Yeah.
It really does. But
so we all know those people.
Yes.
And that's throughout history. I guess someone could argue, or someone could say that history is written every single day.
Yes.
So that being said, what about the great people today that we don't even realize that they're great, or we don't even realize that 20 years from now, 30 years from now, our kids or their kids are going to be reading in the textbooks about the people about today?
Okay, that's a good. That's a good point. That's a good topic. Now, do you think you said that we don't realize? So you're saying that right now they're going through their day and day, or they're working hard for whatever purpose or whatever, and we don't know it?
Or okay, so this is what I'm trying to say. It's pretty obvious that I don't know, name someone.
It can be infamous as well. Donald Trump.
It could be Donald Trump. Yeah. I mean. Okay, I don't want to use a modern day example, but I want to use someone in history. It's pretty obvious that Hitler was going to be, written about in history books.
Yeah, for sure.
Back then, did the people back then know that, wow, my kids are going to be reading about this in 20 years from now? So what I'm trying to say is, in today's world, who is our kids going to be reading about in those textbooks? I mean, and I say that, maybe some people are more obvious than others, but because right now, we're in the box.
Yes.
We only have tunnel vision basically.
Okay.
Like we don't really see the big picture. Like we're not looking in the box store. We can see all the pieces moving and who's greater than this, greater than that person, yada, yada, yada.
I agree. Now, I want to say just right off the bat, look, if I had to say, like a 5 people or something that from today, present day, will be remembered, 50 years down the line. And I don't know about textbooks. When we talk about textbooks, we're also talking about scholarly type of people.
Right. And I mean anything, because
exactly.
Culture changes.
Exactly. I could right now I can only think about really like athletes. That's the things that really
Athletes.
stand out to me. Like athletes, obviously LeBron James, Roger Federer, the tennis player as well.
Federer.
Federer, soccer or football, soccer. Obviously Ronaldo, Messi, um, racing, Lewis Hamilton or Formula One racing.
Yep.
So those are just really obvious examples because I also think that in present day there has never been athletes quite like the ones that we have now. Oh, that's a good topic. I like that
Yeah.
one. But oh, you know what? We can talk about that in the second part because I think it goes perfect with what we're going for. But so I just can't really think of any like political figures right now.
So political figures, what I'm thinking of is, I mean, especially with what's going on today.
Obama. Well, I mean, sure.
I think Obama will definitely be in the history books.
Yes.
The Chinese president, because
Okay.
he's got, or president, dictatorship, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Xi Jinping.
Yeah.
Because he's super controversial with everything that he censors.
North Korea.
North Korea, Kim Jong Un,
Yeah.
and all the other Kim Jongs out there.
But any political figures in the United States that you think will stand out?
I mean, obviously Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Obviously he will.
It's funny. I asked for political figures, and I guess he's political. It's not. But it'd be like more like an infamous type of thing. I don't know if he'd be standing out for.
Yeah, I mean that's up to how
interpretation.
Pearson wants to write about it.
Yeah, sure.
I mean that's another thing too, is really only the winners are truly writing the books.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Also,
the losers don't really have much of a say.
Also, to that topic, I think that people, for example, back then, historic figures, Adolf Hitler, Beethoven, Muhammad Ali, Gandhi, and we're like going through all the centuries and time periods, but I feel like they were very sparse figures. Like there were like a few.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, we got one this over here, we got over here, over here. I feel like, I don't know if it's just because I'm living in present day and I have so many like things going on each and every day in our lives, but I feel like there's so many more figures today, whether because it's like social media that gets them out there as well, or there's just more activity in the world today than there ever has been before.
So one that I was thinking of that's kind of relevant to today, or I mean this year and last year especially. Anthony Fauci.
Okay.
I believe he's the CDC spokesperson or something like that, medical advisor. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, is he going to be in? I mean, maybe. I don't really know. I mean, I think that's like a 50-50.
It's a 50-50 because he's big for us right now, obviously in present day. But I think that 20 years down the line, they're just like say, you know what, the CDC, they just brought up the topic or the name. Like this is the CDC wasn't really quite straightforward, or
and I'm thinking like how are they going to write it? Like
I think there's the CDC. I don't think
Fauci, single-handedly spearheaded the
I don't know. I don't think they'll be that specific with it. It's not like he's done something like it is Fauci's fault. Like it straight up is Fauci's fault. I think that Fauci and CDC go in hand in hand. So just say CDC might just get more people's attention than just saying the specific name, as opposed to saying Donald Trump.
Slightly off topic though. Yeah. I was reading. I don't know if it's true because after all, I am a pleb.
Yeah.
But so China allegedly, already knew about the virus, or as it was happening, as it was first starting out, China knew about it, and supposedly China actually told Trump that, hey, we got this crazy virus, y'all should shut down.
Was that in one of the phone calls?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just remember hearing about it or reading about it somewhere, and Trump was like, ain't no way we're shutting down, because that would destroy the country, right?
Yeah.
I mean, let's put it this way. If you were in his position, do you think you would have shut down the government, or would you have thought this was some weird Chinese propaganda to
I would think the latter, but also it's like, hey, this virus came out, surely it won't come over here. You don't know the extent of it.
You're like, oh, it's just the flu. Come on.
Yeah, we're just a couple days or weeks in as far as knowing what the virus maybe even was completely, but I don't think I would have. I mean, obviously, in hindsight, obviously I should have or would have, but shutting down a whole country for something that just happened in a small town in China or city in China.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think that's
What
strong
about
enough.
I mean, this is one of our kind of role models or idols, Elon Musk.
Yes.
I think
Elon
without a
Musk.
doubt he's going to be in the books.
Yeah.
Without
for
a
sure.
doubt.
For sure. I mean, yeah. With that, just what he's done in the last 5-7 years with, first of all, Tesla, but of course SpaceX. And
Yeah, he's got that other one, the satellite one, to like do like Wi-Fi everywhere. I forgot that one's called though.
It's not part of SpaceX.
So I believe he's gonna make it a separate entity.
Oh, okay.
I think right now it is a part of
Okay.
SpaceX. I think his plan goes to.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
he-
no,
but
for
he's got a
sure.
name
Elon
for
Musk,
it.
like, regardless of what you think of the dude, he's already done
He's done a lot.
like Tesla-esque.
Yeah, I mean he's basically I don't want. I mean maybe he could be the founder of the starter of the EV revolution. I mean maybe that might actually be like
Because
a
before
part in the timeline.
before Tesla, what was out as far as EVs, electronic vehicles?
I mean the Prius.
Okay.
I mean everyone knows the Prius. I don't really know too many, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Prius. But honestly, it didn't hit off. It wasn't as attractive.
it was
as
not
a
attractive. That
Tesla,
thing looked
so-
like
Yeah,
that
okay.
thing looked like
That's
a
true. That's
mini
true.
soccer mom car.
Yeah, so I think I think Elon Musk will be seen as like the revolutionary for the EV trend.
Basically made EVs cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
not
mean,
not
Teslas are
affordable,
cool.
but
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, man. Look, 'cause I think I was watching this video on YouTube of Napoleon Bonaparte,
Okay.
the French revolutionary of the 17th century, I believe. Don't quote me on that. And I was thinking, like, how many other famous people, like, during his time when he was, the French leader, military leader, 18th century, I'm sorry. He was literally like the only person that mattered in France during that time. Like, of course, maybe there might be like a couple artists, painters or musicians, but as far as like when it came to politics and world leaders, it was just Napoleon. So I was thinking, like, what about the other millions of French people around that time? What happened to their stories? Like, I'm sure there's revolutionaries and like inventors during that time, but you just don't hear about them.
I mean, I think every country has their moment.
Yeah.
Every country has their moment. I mean, look at the most notable in Africa, I think, is like Shaka Zulu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, France, many years before Napoleon, they had Marie Antoinette. I mean, you've probably never heard of her. Maybe you have. I don't know.
And so it rings a bell, but it might be a song.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing about it back in history in high school.
Okay, yeah.
Like,
It's just
her,
I'm not even talking like French leaders, but like during that time, nothing really else mattered, I feel. But that, I mean, obviously it's like a revolution going on, so the only thing that matters is war and feeding the soldiers and winning the war. But like, I just can't stop thinking about how many more famous people or historic figures we'll have now in present day that I think that we ever had in the past. I don't know if that's
you're right. And I mean, even in the past, though, like for example, like Mozart.
Yeah.
All right, like, I mean, Mozart was around in like the 1700s.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Like, I mean, what was even going on in the 1700s to where people were like, "Yo, this guy, they're gonna be talking about Mozart forever."
That's a good point.
Like, I mean,
yeah, that's right. That's a good point. That's
this
a good
is
point. I mean, like,
crazy.
name one
That's
other
crazy.
person from that same time period. I bet you can't.
I can't. I really can't.
I can't either.
Okay.
But yet a pianist.
I think he was blind too. I don't even remember, but maybe he was.
I thought that was
Maybe that was Beethoven. I don't know.
Beethoven was blind and deaf or something like that, I believe. Yeah. But that's true, right? Like a musician, out of all the people and the things going on, like, perhaps revolutions or declarations of independence or independence going on in France and Europe and Germany during that time. But yet, no, a musician is remembered. That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful. Wow, dude. And it's crazy. I mean, we can talk about music industry later, but how that was the bangers of that of their time.
Yeah, that was the banger, all right?
compared to what we have now.
They were probably bobbing their heads in their carriage on their horse.
I was wondering how
Did you hear that drop?
they how would they sell their music? How do you even spread your music at that time? I have no idea.
I think it was all in church.
I
I think so. I mean, I don't know, but
That would make sense. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, that was big. That was big. Interesting, man. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, name another figure that you think is in a
Like modern day today.
modern day. You're like, this person, like Warren Buffett? No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I mean, look, he's famous. He's done great things for the.
See, look, and this is my argument why I think there's going to be more talks in the history books of not regular people, but non-political figures.
Okay.
More like economists.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much philosophers, because let's face it, philosophy is kind of like
Been on the down low for.
It's been on the down low. Don't get me wrong, I think philosophy is cool.
Yeah.
But it's kind of been pushed to the wayside.
Yeah.
But the reason why I think there's going to be more talks of like economists and culturalists or whatever you want to call it is because it's almost like, or at least the way I see it, is the world is kind of transitioning. I mean, it's transitioning farther away from actual war. It's more of like espionage.
Yeah.
We got spies on the down low over here.
Cyber.
We heard China say that we're stupid.
Yeah.
And and like you mentioned, cyber warfare. Yeah. So that being said, I think the value of a great general is kind of being diminished a little bit.
100%.
And so it's like war is going to be lesser important because it's more of like which country can propel themselves higher on the world stage with not the means of war. So that being said, if there's no more great generals, there's going to be more talks about, Warren Buffett, Kathy Woods, BlackRock, Vanguard, and other just, non-political figure kind of stuff.
I mean, I also don't think that those people that you've just mentioned like have made an impact in our present day everyday type of life as much as.
So one thing that I didn't mention, I was going to, it just slipped my mind while I was pontificating, but was because the world, so the way I see it is, as the countries that are trying to peg themselves better than the others, I think they're going to want to, a part of that is having a great economy.
Okay.
And I guess a part of the whole economy thing is, I think it's just one of those things where you got to talk about, like the great investors of that time. And I guess who started the whole great investor thing. I mean, everyone can say, a lot of people can say a lot of things. Yeah. I think Warren Buffett, I think I just saw a stat this year saying that he profited like $4 billion.
Yeah. But it's like,
I can just
I don't feel like it leaves an impact on our everyday life as much as other people. But you're right, of course. Look, for example, on every single episode now, we've had this book on our table.
Sun Tzu.
The Art of War by Sun Tzu. He was a general. And this is the first time we mentioned this book. And this general obviously was like, tactics of war and how to beat the opponent when they're the weakest. There's also George Patton, the USA...
I think this is the funniest thing about, the Art of War is like you read some of the stuff and it's like, well, duh.
Yeah.
Obviously.
But look, so exactly. He might have, during that time, he might have been like, hey, you know what? This guy's got a point.
This guy's got some good stuff.
He's spitting right now. Like we're about to win this war. And you're right. Nowadays, name one, war general. We haven't been in, well, I guess we have been in war for
I don't know any modern day generals.
Nothing stands out because you're right. It's more kind of like who has the better, fighter pilots or the better technology or scanners or whatever, UAVs.
Or just say you got a nuke and no one's gonna mess.
It doesn't.
With you.
No one cares who made the nuke. It's just as long as who has the nuke. So that's a good point. I haven't really thought about that. But so Sun Tzu obviously at that time, he was, I don't know where he wrote this stuff, but he was spitting some good facts that were obviously facts, but they worked in somehow. And China won some war.
Some type of dynasty. I don't know. They have a ton of dynasties.
Yeah. Good topic, man. Good topic. I like that. We'll have to find out, man. We'll have to find out. I mean, when our kids are in middle school, high school, we'll have to, I'll check out those textbooks and see what is being mentioned of the 2010s, 2020s. Obviously, coronavirus, obviously the recession will be mentioned, but besides that, I don't know if anything else has really happened. 9/11, of course.
I think it's going to be funny, though, is whenever, we see our kids' textbooks, if we do have kids, that, I don't know, what the textbooks will be saying about like, 2015. You know, like it's just funny to think about it because it's like,
I can't name one thing that happened in 2015 that was like.
and like the funny thing is though is it's like we don't really see that as history.
Yeah.
So it's just gonna be, I don't know, kind of what's the word? Ironic maybe that we don't really consider that history, even though, you know, our time is basically gone. You know, like time just never stops.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, yesterday was history.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We'll have to find out. We'll get back to this in episode like 752 when we have.
We'll see
kids
how
in high
well
school.
this episode ages.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, topic number one.
Yeah. Tell us.
So you presented this topic. You said, should there be a license or certificate for? You didn't specify it was couples or individuals.
I think it should be. Well, see, that's kind of a gray area of it because I mean, you know, there's single moms all over the place, right?
Yeah.
So I think it should be solely, and I don't mean to, you know, peg this on women, but I think women need to be the one to take it because they're the ones, you know, a guy can't, you know, grow a baby.
Okay.
Like within themselves. This is not possible, right? So I think the female needs to take this test that gives you, like, I don't know, a 10-year license. Like, hey, for the next 10 years, you're good to have a baby.
Okay, wait. So we're talking. My bad. I guess I got to misunderstand. We're talking about, like, biologically, like you're talking about your body being ready to have a baby.
No. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying. The females need to take the test because a guy obviously can't make a baby, right? So, not the test wouldn't be given to couples. The test would be solely, like, you know, for the female.
Okay, and this test is what?
I don't know, it's some type of test where the female has to take it, and if you pass it, then yeah, you could have a baby. If you don't pass it, you can't have a baby.
Okay, see, I'm still kind of lost. You're talking about, like, have you done cocaine in the last 5 years type of test?
I wouldn't call it like that. More of a test of, like, you know, how to raise a baby, or like, or like how would you treat the baby? Parenting. There you go.
Okay, like a parenting test.
Yeah. A parenting test.
Okay, so then I'm gonna say that it should be for both, assuming that, you know, obviously there's two. Mm-hmm. I don't think it should be limited.
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, I think it has to be limited because there's single moms everywhere. Like, how are you gonna?
Well, look. Obviously, if there's a single mom, then she has the opportunity to take it. But I also think that if there's a couple, then they should both take it.
Okay. Yeah.
Or at least have the option for the man to take it. I mean, obviously, you want to. If the man, let's say you you have both couples or both people come here, and the dad or the male fails it, so it's like, okay, something's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, something's happening.
Yeah, so it's important that that you took it just to find out that you weren't eligible or certified or
and I think that would make a lot of people mad.
What, to fail it?
No, I think the idea of a license to have a baby would make a lot of people mad. And I mean, this is my argument for it.
Okay, I want to hear it.
And this is just a small case. I mean, this is just one of my little observations. Yeah. But like whenever I'm at work, and it happens to be a kid, you know, who checks in to the ER. I mean, they're not really supposed to bring kids to the ER, or at least my ER, but they still do it.
Okay.
And we can't turn them away, so. Whenever a pediatric checks in, let's say it's I got a prime example.
Okay.
There was a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Checked in. I had to get some blood.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so 13-year-old checks in. You know, I come in with the needle and everything. Kid starts screaming, crying, running around. The mom was just sitting there like, hey, sit down.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, not doing anything. I mean, come on, really? I wasn't there for 5 minutes trying to, get this kid, situated.
Yeah.
And the mom was just there, arms crossed, like, hey, come on, act your age. Come on. Like, I mean, really? Like, that's really the only help you're going to be given.
Yeah.
I mean, it basically got to the point where I'm like, look, I can't waste any more time in here.
Yeah.
I'm going to, leave, do what other things that I have to do, because the more time I'm in here, I'm just getting backed up with more work. So I'm gonna leave, do something else. By the time I come back, hopefully he's ready, because I really don't got time for this.
Yeah.
I leave, come back, the dude's crying, saying I would rather die than get a needle. I'm like, really? Really, it's a little tiny poke that feels like an ant bite. Come on.
Yeah.
I basically got to the point where I had to call in a second person, pin the kid down, and get things done.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay, look.
That's just ridiculous parenting.
And there's probably way worse parenting out there, and I'm sure you
Absolutely.
have. I'm sure you have some examples, but the fact that you have to pass this test. Look, so first of all, this test is probably going to be pretty easy as well. It's not like
I wouldn't call it easy.
I
I
mean,
think there would be some hard hitters.
okay, give me an example of a question that would be on there, like, because I mean, it can't be like, okay, first of all, it also can't be a test where like you kind of know the answer, right? Like,
Right, and I
you
mean,
know,
yeah.
if your kid has to wake up at 7 a.m. tomorrow, what time are you gonna put him to sleep? Even bad parents will probably still say like 9 p.m. type of thing,
Yeah.
right? So what's a hard hitter?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
didn't write the test, man. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna write the test, but I think I'm just saying.
I'm trying to like kind of like see where you're coming from as far as like, because I'm thinking it should be like fairly easy, just like common sense.
I don't think so. I don't think it should be common sense. I mean, obviously, common sense. There should be some amount of common sense, but
Right, but also, I mean, I can't even think of a hard question right now, man. Like, even if I wanted to be pro certificate or whatever, I can't think of a hard.
Well, look, I mean, so this is my thought on it. Look, you have to have a license to go fishing. You have to have a
Okay.
license, to go hunting.
Okay.
You gotta have a license to drive a car.
Yes.
I was actually talking about this with a coworker.
Yeah.
And she was one who actually brought this up to me. And
Okay.
she was actually breaking it down for me. I'm like, oh, this is, you're spitting some fire over here. All right.
Okay.
And she's like, yeah, you have to have a license to drive a car.
Was she serious or was she
Oh,
just?
she was serious. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I was like, damn, you're spitting some facts. And she's like, look, but to create a life form, to create another human, you can just do it willy nilly if
Yeah.
you're in the mood and things just get out of hand
Yeah.
and one thing leads to the other.
Yeah. 9 months later, you got
9 months
another
later,
human. It is one of the. I think it might be the biggest responsibilities of life. I
Yeah.
don't think that there's quite like anything like it. It's huge. I mean, it's huge, and obviously, look, is everyone adequate to have a baby? No. Should everybody have the option to have a baby? Yes. But I mean, sometimes you see people. Sometimes you might even have like friends from high school, middle school. Like this guy, this girl is crazy. Like, I just really hope this person never reproduces.
Yeah.
And you didn't mean it because like you don't want him to be happy or anything. It's just like
Okay.
like
All right. So this is gonna be controversial.
Yeah.
So with this license, you obviously have to pass the test,
Okay.
right? What about the people who have some type of mental disability who cannot pass the test, but then, let's say they go against not having the license,
Okay.
but they have this tweak in their head. They're like, oh, I gotta make a baby, and let's say they do get pregnant. What happens? Is it like a fine? Is it like other means get taken, or what happens? Because obviously people can just go against the word of the license, right?
Yeah.
So what would be punishment?
Look, I before I say anything, I don't agree with the certificate or the license.
Okay.
But in this world that we have this license,
Yeah.
I don't think there should be necessarily a fine or penalty. I think
So there'd be no fine. So basically, it would just be
No. I think what there should be is some sort of like monitoring, type of like check in on the individual or household or family every 3 months. Like, hey, you know what? How is Timmy going? How is he in school? How did what is his grades looking like? Type of thing. Because, of course, like you don't want to like impede somebody. Like, hey, like here's a $3,000 fine for having a baby. It's like, I mean, it just doesn't ring, right? It doesn't have like a flow to it.
okay.
But because the whole purpose of this is making sure that we have like adequate humans or citizens in our communities, right? That's kind of the whole purpose. That we want to make sure that we're going up instead of down or staying.
I think I got an idea.
Yeah.
I think the idea is, all right, maybe scrap the idea. Maybe scrap the idea, all right?
That you haven't said yet, or the idea of the certificate.
Idea of the license or
Okay,
certificate.
okay, scrap that idea.
Yeah, maybe scrap that. What if it's like because you just said something that I think I just grew it into something else.
Okay.
What about, because you said it would be someone's job to like, check up on the kid. I think that would just be way too cumbersome. I don't think all the kids would be able to get checked up on, because I mean, look, some families have like 8 kids, right? I mean,
Well, I mean, if
how
they pass the
big?
test, then they don't have to worry about it. But
So okay, so you're saying if they pass the test, they don't have to worry. But if you don't pass the test and you still have a baby, then you're subjective to monitoring,
something like that.
something like that. So this was my idea. You just scrap the whole test. I mean, I think the test should still be there,
Okay.
just so that there could be foreshadowing, like, hey, you failed the test,
Yeah.
but you still had the baby. There needs to be some type of monitoring. But I mean, I think that could be said about more could be said about that later on. But
Okay.
my idea was in elementary school.
Yes.
Like I would say one time all the way up to high school. One time a year, every kid. I mean, I think there should be like
Okay.
one whole day to where all the kids get like interviewed. Like, hey,
Okay.
like, I mean, are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting enough to eat?
Mm.
Are you getting mistreated? Are you getting hit, yelled at, kicked, whatever? Like, do you feel safe at home? I think there should be one day to where one day a year, all the way up to 8th grade or whatever middle school is, that they get interviewed like that.
Okay.
Just so it takes the whole travel of someone going door to door, and just where it's in the school, so so there's basically no bias of like a family member, looking at the kid. Hey, I mean,
Yeah.
answer this.
Okay. I see some potential there. I think because look, out of the millions of kids that will be interviewed on January 5th.
I'm not saying it's one day. I mean, okay, look, let me rephrase. I'm saying for every school district.
Okay, yeah, it's not like the one exact day.
Yeah,
of the
okay,
year,
okay,
but just
yeah.
for example,
Yeah.
for all the millions, let's say there was one day, for all the millions of students that were interviewed on January 5th, there was like 17 cases of child abuse. There was like 20
Yeah.
cases of like malnourishment. Where there was, so I think that there could be good coming out of this because, of course, I'm sure even if you were malnourished, maybe you're like so scared of your parents that you might just say, no, I'm eating well. But I'm sure there's also another case of
But
another
see,
kid.
like, I mean, that's the whole point of the interview being taking place in school
Yeah.
and not at home.
Well, I mean, after like your third interview, I'm sure it's coming, and your probably parents are like, "Hey, what'd you say?" Or if you're scared of your parents, and they're like those types of parents where like, I don't want to be checked up on by some government official every month. Say this on this time, you'll be so scared that you will say that even if it's true or false. So there is some leeway. There's a little shortcut for some people to avoid this, but I also think that there could be a lot of good for people that maybe some kids just really had it and like, hey, you know what, at home I really eat like once a day, and there's no milk or whatever, and then I think that there's a lot of good that can come from that, at least getting some recognition and some sort of monitoring from the government to make sure that the kid is in a healthy household.
So what do you think monitoring should be? Should it be like checks like once a month checkups? Someone actually comes to the house, sees what's up, sees like the living conditions, because then that just opens up another door of like,
Rights and stuff.
rights, exactly. Like, hey, you can't come to my house, but it's the person's job to, and do you got a warrant basically? And
oh man, it's a tough one because like let's say it's like malnourishment, right? Let's say that a kid is not having enough food, and they're real skinny, their energy levels are super low,
or they got crazy bruises, who knows, maybe they're getting beat or something.
they have like their skin color is a little pale.
Yeah.
What if you once a month you get like a care package of like healthy good foods?
Healthy good foods. See, at that point, it's like, should they just be taken into like the foster system or something? Which I know the foster system is like supposedly crazy bad.
Oh man, this is a good talk, because it's a tough one. Because look, let's say we send them a care package, like they can just throw it away, right? Like, I don't want nothing from the government, they just throw the care package away, and that's just a waste of good food there. But also, I don't think that you should have. I mean, what does a government official do anyway? Like, go knock at the house. Hey, is Timmy eating all right? Yeah, go away, stupid. And then what are you gonna do there? Like, that's the end of your job there. sign them up for like maybe food stamps. Maybe there's not enough income in the house, and they need some food stamps or food, government official help to feed their children. I don't know, man. I mean, does this happen in the United States? Yes, I'm sure it does. The solution, though, is not as easy as that, dude.
Did you? I mean, this is kind of off topic, but kind of in the same realm. Did you ever hear about the Turpin family that happened in California?
Turpin family.
Turpin.
No.
So there was this family. They were called the Turpin family. David and Luis, I think, Turpin, and they had 13 kids. That's a lot of kids, right? And it turns out, so they basically homeschool or quote homeschooled all of them, and I want to say the oldest was 29, and the youngest was 2, and they actually imprisoned all of them, including the 29-year-old. Imprisoned, all right. And when I say imprisoned, I mean like locked up.
Okay.
Locked up, and man, the story is really interesting. Child abuse, torture, and false imprisonment was the actual charges that they were charged with.
The parents.
The parents, yeah.
Okay.
And lewd acts on a child. Wow. Basically, the only reason why that they were even found was, I believe there was like some report completely unrelated and about like a gas leak or something.
Oh, wow.
And a firefighter went to the house to, talk about this gas leak or something. And whenever they walked in the house, as the firefighter or someone, looked around, they like saw a kid like locked up in a cage. And so then he just pretended, not to see it and just walked out like, okay, yeah, have a good day. And then he called the police. Police comes. Turns out there's 13 kids like locked up in a cage or something.
Jesus, son of a gun.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Of course, that's just a crazy extreme.
Yeah, that's a crazy extreme. But look, I also think that those
again.
parents would also pass that test. Because we got to get down to, okay, I guess we're not even talking about the test anymore, but those kids, honestly, they're homeschooled, so they would avoid that test or that day of school completely.
Yeah, they're homeschooled. Yeah.
So, that's one way out. But back to the test or the license, like I just can't think of one question where like only good parents can answer this and bad parents can't. I just can't.
You're right. It would be really subjective.
Because look, even like back to now nourishment. Like, what if one of the questions was like, how many grams of sugar should a kid eat every day? I have no idea. I'd fail it. That's a hard question. But that's because it literally is a hard question. Not like, it's not a bad parent. Not a good parent can answer that. I just can't think of one. But I guess if you were to put me like, or give me like an example, like, okay, this is what a good parent would say, and this would definitely like, weed out the bad parents, and I'm all for it. But I just can't think of something like that, man. I can't. Oh man,
I really don't either.
That'd be a good start, for an argument. Thus far, I don't think it's a good idea, just because, like, like I said, I don't know, man. What are characteristics of a good parent? Obviously, there's a lot, right? There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. It just seems like, I see what you're saying. How people could easily lie. Yeah, easily lie through it.
Unless you put them like through a polygraph, then that'd be the most expensive way to become a parent, or for the government. But
would you punch your kid?
Yeah, that would be that'd be a good way out. I don't know, man. I don't know. For kids, man, I do know that obviously there's a lot of bad cases of parenting all over the place, man, and because of that, tend to have like PTSD, depression, anxiety, a lot more than kids that maybe grew up in a healthy household, and those kids maybe tend to grow up and kind of be unproductive for society, right? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what every country wants to avoid, right? If we can find a way to make everybody more productive, more successful, happier, then we should go for that. But
right,
currently there's really no solution for that completely, right? Yeah, there's no perfect country. There's no like perfect example. Like, oh, look, the way that they're doing it's right. Because I'm sure there's sadness, depression, anxiety, in all parts of the world, regardless of income or Medicare type of thing.
What
But man,
about this is kind of off topic again.
yeah.
But what about it slipped my mind. Oh no, I'm sorry, I remember now. No, this is no shots on the people who were created in this way, or the people whose mothers were like this.
Yeah.
What about I guess there's nothing really to be said about it, but like I remember back when I was in middle school.
Yeah.
Back when I was in sixth grade, there was a female that was pregnant. What about like people who are getting pregnant in like middle school?
Okay.
I mean, how would you prevent that? Because I mean, I think we could agree that having a baby in middle school is not the wisest decision. It kind of sets things back a bit.
I agree. Not that it makes it impossible for anyone to
It doesn't make it
prosper or anything
impossible,
like
yeah.
that, but does it?
It stacks the odds against you.
Yeah. Oh man, look, I think that as far as the way I was, or the programs in my middle school and high school, sex ed,
Yeah,
type of thing,
it wasn't very good in my opinion.
You don't think it was very good?
I don't think it was very good at all. I think it was more of a joke.
Well, look, we're also at that age,
young
we're
and immature.
Immature. We're going
But
through.
I don't know if you remember those videos. I remember one of the videos, and it was a joke.
I don't.
It was I don't know which company made this video or why they thought that this was the way to get to kids' minds or something. But it was basically there was a kid.
Yeah.
There was a guy, and this guy liked this girl.
Yeah.
And this guy liked this girl, and this kid had this dream
Okay.
of the girl.
Okay.
Okay. And the girl was pregnant.
Okay.
But whenever she was at the hospital giving birth, she was giving birth to like all these different like kids' toys.
Oh. Okay.
Your reaction
that will scare somebody.
And the guy
Was it meant to scare the kid, or
I don't know, but in the video, in the guy's dream, the kid was like freaking out, like, "Oh my god, I don't want a kid," just freaking out. I mean, I thought that was just the stupidest video ever. It just didn't make sense to me, but
Yeah, I think it's important to mention to kids or young adults that not that having a kid scary or anything like that, because it might traumatize some people, but rather it's a huge responsibility. Like it's gonna set you back, as you said. Like it's huge. It's more than you can imagine at the age of 16, 18. Like I don't know, you don't think you can comprehend that. Now, I think that it's good to talk about sex ed, though. Look, obviously that video was to ease in these ideas of like, hey, be responsible type of thing, right?
Yeah.
Not to necessarily scare you. I just think that maybe the way that certain video was executed wasn't as effective.
not the best execution.
Right. But I think that it should be more informative. Like, hey, guys, having a kid or being pregnant is about 9 months of your life. And you're also your body's going through this and that, and changing the chemistry and biology of
I think they should just be straight up.
But being that age, though, I don't know if you can take many things straight up like that.
See, I think it should be straight up to be as blunt as possible. Be like, look, this is the way it is. This is this part.
Yeah.
This is that part. This is what happens. If this happens, boom, you get a baby.
Yeah.
And I mean, is having a baby at this age a wise decision?
We have to explain why it's not, because some
Exactly.
people
Well, yeah, obviously explain to them why it's not.
Yeah.
But I think it should be super straight up.
Yeah.
So it would kind of go along the lines of, and I mean, I hate for it to have like a scare factor or a fear factor to it, but like one of those like shows that's on TV, like I think it's called like Beyond Scared Straight.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's basically like these kids go to a jail.
Yeah,
And they go to a prison, to see like prisoners, and the prisoners are like, look, in prison, man, I beat your forehead in, or just try to scare these kids. I mean, and I don't mean for it to be a fear factor kind of thing, but I think it should be super blunt, just to lay out the facts and not beat around the bush, and pull out kids' toys out of some.
Yeah, that might not be the most effective, but I just don't know how straightforward you can be with kids. So, like, honestly, like, a lot of things go over the kids' heads, A lot of things goes in one ear and goes out the other.
Exactly, which is why I think it should be as blunt as possible.
But that's why it's like, okay, all right, back to class. Back to recess.
Back to
Let's go to lunch. You know, so it's like, how are you gonna make it stick? And I mean that obviously
That's
stuck.
pretty major.
That obviously stuck with you. I don't know if it's for the right reasons or
And
not.
not for the right reasons, yeah.
But at least you kind of got the concept. Okay, you know, that's a little funny that, you know, teddy bears came out of there. But okay, this is what they probably meant, and maybe you rationalized it in your own way. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. Probably not, but yeah.
I mean, that's the whole point of this. Like, you know, being able to level up with a teenager going through puberty. Like, you know, for me, puberty, like, I never really had like, oh, you know, I'm tripping, like I don't know what's going on with my life.
Yeah.
I never really had like that realization. I just kind of like, okay, here we go. Like,
It's just, you know, one day you're like, oh, hey, see you guys tomorrow. Next day, hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, fellas?
Yeah, I'm a man. You know.
I mean, yes and no. Like, no, I didn't have like obviously the night switch, but it was never like I never like to myself said, okay, I'm in puberty now. Like I never reaction to being in puberty. Like it was just kind of like, you know, it's like you see yourself in the mirror every day. Like you don't know when you changed.
Exactly.
You know, if you go to the gym, you didn't really see the differences from last month. But someone that just sees you every once in a while, they'll notice it. So for me, it was like, you know, I'm just kind of going through life. But for teenage pregnancies, man, because look, it's funny because 50 years ago, I mean, I don't know about your parents or your heritage, but from Mexican heritage, like, you know, having kids around or starting to have kids around 18, 19, 20
right, I think
is the norm.
Right. I think, like, you know, like the whole joke about it is, you know, at 15, it's called the quinceañera because at 16 is called pregnancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, you become a woman pretty young, or, I mean, I guess you might be a woman by 15. I don't know. I'm not a scientist to prove or disprove that, but yeah, like in a lot of heritage, and I think I'd argue like that's pretty much around the world about 100 years ago, 50 years ago.
Oh yeah, it was. Well, I think, you know, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, that was a normal because life expectancy was just so short.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And there was not much to. No, I'll take that back.
I mean, you know, life back then was also a lot more dangerous.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was kind of better to, you know, make a baby
Reproduce
while you were still alive.
Yeah, to survive. Yeah, I mean, it's just to, you know, keep the life or your family going,
Right.
your family line going. Now we're in a different time because first of all, we have a lot more medicine and technology at our sleeves disposal to, you know, prevent.
So do you think it's going to get to a time where the norm is actually going to be like 30?
Ooh, what is the norm now?
I don't even know. I think I'm sure you've had friends, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, just scrolling through social media, like, oh wow, this person had a baby. This person had a baby.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even like at 22, 23 years old, 24 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably want to say the average is like 26, 27.
Yeah, that sounds about right, honestly, man.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's some earlier, some later.
For sure.
For one reason or another, but yeah.
I mean, there's no right or wrong either, but I think, I mean, I don't know. Maybe the norm might be even younger, honestly.
I think, it might even be like 25.
Yeah, maybe 25. Do I think it'll go to 30? See, I think, well, maybe it might. I'm against 30 just because, or the reason I think it's not going to be 30 anytime soon is just because, I don't know, by 30 you start thinking like, okay, when my kid's 15, I'll be 45.
Yeah, you're not going to be the cool parent anymore.
Yeah, you're going to be like, the dad joke type of thing, right?
Yeah,
so
don't touch the thermostat.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe I want to have 2 kids. So when one's, you know, whatever, you start adding on like, okay, I don't want to be 50 when he turns 20 type of thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that there's
I think I'd be the coolest dad ever. That's just me though.
I think I will be too.
I think I'd be.
I think you're
gonna be.
I think you're gonna be. I don't want to say harsh. Maybe blunt.
I think I'd be harsh and blunt.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, yeah, you're right. Maybe not harsh, but I think I'd be very blunt.
Yeah.
Like, look, this is the way it is. This is how it's happening. You don't like it, I'm sorry, but you know, that's just life.
Look, man,
you know,
all I say is I don't want to tell you how to be a dad. Not that I'm a dad myself already, but dude, the way that you have to talk to some people is just not the way that you'll want to take it yourself. Right?
Oh yeah, and look, I'll sit that kid down at 6 years old and be like, look, this is the way life is. All right.
See, that's the thing, though. That's the thing, right? That's just not the way that he or she will be able to compliment life.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be telling him Santa Claus doesn't exist, but I mean,
sure. I mean, yeah. Look, of course, if like someone like I remember when I was young, I wanted like this Crash Bandicoot.
Mm-hmm.
I went to one of my friend's house with my parents, and you know, my parents were really good friends with his parents, or whatever. And he had this one Crash Bandicoot toy, like this big. It was maybe like a McDonald's toy, that, you know, the Happy Meal.
Happy Meal.
I wanted that toy so bad, man. I wanted it so bad. I even considered putting it in my pocket. It was like, it's one of those toys. No, like, it's one of those toys. Like, it's so small. Like, I'm sure he doesn't even care about it, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I really want this toy. Like, I don't know what I thought so cool about that game, whatever. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna take it. That's kind of messed up. Like, I realized that. So I went up to my parents, like, hey, can I have this toy? And I asked my parents.
Okay.
My dad got so mad. My dad was like embarrassed. Like, imagine, it's like, it's this little. He wants this toy. Like, my dad was like, I'll buy you one tomorrow. Like, but his face was turning red. Like, I'm about to smack this kid when he gets home. So obviously, like, I realized pretty early, okay, that's his stuff, or that's their stuff. This is my stuff. I should be happy with it. And if I want it, I'll ask my parents. I won't try to take it from somebody. So, like, the way I found out or came to find out how, property works and type of thing, it was kind of like in my own way. I wasn't also, like, thrown out the window and picked up and then hit and, I wasn't, like, smacked around, right?
Yeah.
But my dad also, like, didn't yell at me and explain it. So he was like, the way I needed to hear it was to a way that, I would take it in. So I think at 6 years old, I don't know if I was 6 years, but I don't. You can't just tell the kid, like, hey, you know what? People would die. Deal with it.
I think I would. Anyway, I think we got off a little off topic. Yes or no? Should females have a license to have a baby?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
But look,
I think so. I'll say yes. I'll say there should be a license.
Because look, I think what we just touched on right now is that you, in that test, there would be some sort of question, surely, if this test existed. How will you explain death to your children? Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, maybe. But that's like an open-ended one, or
exactly.
would it be multiple choice?
Exactly. No, it's open-ended. Like, you'll explain it to yourself. Like, oh, you're right. So you would say, I'll just tell them people die and they're gone forever. Does that kind of sound like what you say? I don't know.
Kind of. I mean, I give a good explanation about it. Don't get me wrong.
Go ahead.
I mean, I'm not just going to be like, look, people die and that's it.
All right.
I'm going to say, look, it's just a part of life. All right. People get born. You were born. I mean, there's going to be a day where I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be here anymore. Okay. I'm going to be dead. Yeah. And you're never going to, be able to say another word to me again because I'm not going to exist.
I want to cry right now. I want to cry right now. Like.
So basically, make every moment a good moment because it could be my last. So.
Okay. Yeah, and that might not get you as many points on that test.
I think it would be. I'd be like 10 points.
No, that's not it. I would say, what would I say? So, look, obviously, if you're religious, you'd say something else. Something like, I'll be gone, but I'll still like watch you from over here, type of thing.
Come on, man. Come on.
Well, if you're religious.
Okay, if you're religious. Yeah,
if you're religious. I'm sorry, I mean, that's what.
Yeah. Sorry,
depending on the religion, I guess.
I mean, I kind of was, but I kind of wasn't.
I would say. So you got to sugarcoat it somehow, but still kind of get to the same point, right?
I don't sugarcoat.
I know you. Obviously, you didn't. You said I'm gonna be gone. You won't be to say. You won't be able to tell you I love you anymore. Yeah, obviously you're not sugarcoating. I would say something like, hey, you know what? One day, or people. I wouldn't even say me. Why would I even mention me dying? Like, I don't have to. Why make it that sad?
See, that's the thing, though. It makes it. I mean, not only does it make it more personal, but I mean, look at how the news is. Mm-hmm. Click on the news. News anchor will say, "Oh, and by the way, there was 30 people died in a flood in Thailand."
Okay.
People don't bat an eye. People are just like, "Oh yeah, 30 people died," and people get so desensitized.
Okay, that's just the media's fault, though.
Exactly. Well, that's just a whole. That's just.
And that's also what gets most clicks, though. Like, 30
no, I mean,
people
not
died.
even. Like, this is just the news. Like, this is just like the news. Like, final 10 seconds. Like, there was a flood in Thailand. 30 people died.
No, there's a whole segment on that.
No,
stuff.
not even.
There is.
I mean, even the bottom line of like the news. Like the whole like little ticker thing at the bottom. It'll tell you like, there's a suicide bomber in Syria. 16 people died. It won't even make like the anchor's news.
It'll make the anchor's news if it's worth like a location where it's worth it. Like, hey, San Francisco.
Do you know what I see it? Do you know? Okay, this is the way I see it. I see that. I think we got completely off topic, but I see it. I think we should save this for the topic actually. About the whole news thing. And okay I think so. I'll just say this. I think the real news is actually on the bottom line. Because I almost see it as this, perhaps, as if the anchor, it's all sensationalism, it's all dramatized.
I don't think a lot of people watch the news anymore, like the way that you're mentioning. My bad. Okay. The way that you mentioned, I think a lot of people like on YouTube, like you kind of already heard something. Elvis Presley passed away, and then you go on YouTube and you see exactly what you want to see. I don't know. Maybe I would I would like to see the numbers, but I feel like most of it's like you kind of go, or maybe just .com, CNN.com, whatever you watch, and it'll just come up and you just click on what you want to know about. That's it. I don't think so many people are just like live tuning at 9 p.m.
But see, that's the thing. Most of the YouTube, most of the YouTube news though is like clips taken from the actual broadcast.
Yeah, well, yeah, but also like
but that's my point. It's all sensationalism for the most part. Like what the news anchor is actually saying. It seems like it's just mostly like almost, I don't want to say reality TV, but I almost see it as if the bottom line ticker is actually where the real news is at.
I don't know. I mean, usually segments on news are pretty short anyway, so the YouTube video of like 3 minutes might just be the whole segment that they did. So whatever. Yeah, the certificates, licenses, I disagree.
Okay.
I want one thing before we just close this one out. I will say, so right. you compared it to like those gun licenses, driver's licenses, hunting licenses, and those are all to kind of like, this might be an argument for the license, but those are all kind of to limit or to control, have a controlled, wildlife controlled.
I don't think that's true. I mean,
hunting licenses are
to a degree, yes, but I do know for a fact that in Texas, you can hunt hogs, and it's actually, they want you to kill hogs. I mean, because hogs and some deer are so invasive to where they're actually taking over the land. So they actually want you to kill these hogs.
Yeah.
And they actually want you to kill these hogs so bad that they'll actually take away your taxes.
Oh well.
At the end of the year. So like,
but they're also not endangered in any way. So
no, they're not endangered.
Population's
yeah
okay.
Right, but I mean, you still need a hunting license.
Yes, exactly.
So I mean, it kind of goes against.
Well, that's one animal out of the surely thousands that you can hunt.
Sure. I don't know if there's that many animals.
Oh,
you can
hunt, hundreds that you can hunt.
Okay. Yeah,
so I think for the most part at least, it's kind of like population control. So there's some sort of like reasoning behind it. Driving as well, they want to make sure that only adequate drivers can.
And there's some stupid drivers out there.
And there are some stupid drivers out there. I agree 100%.
Stupid drivers out
there. Actually, speaking of stupid drivers, just a quick shout out to Dana, who made the logo for the show. She actually just got in a hit and run. So
oh no!
She was in a bad accident. So our prayers go to her.
Yeah.
So yes, a lot of stupid drivers out there for sure. Not that she was the other person, obviously. So for the most part, I think those licenses are just kind of like there to have some sort of control over population or driver safety. Or what was the other one I said? Guns. Oh, so make sure the right people, for the most part, have guns. Mm-hmm. So with this license, and this is obviously an argument for, which is I'm kind of like, being devil's advocate, but an argument for the license for having children would also be like to have some sort of control, government control, which doesn't sound good, but for like I said, good citizens.
So what about, because it's kind of nearing that time with like resource control and overpopulation.
Mm-hmm. See, that'd be an argument for for
the license,
reducing population. Yeah. So yeah, I agree.
So what if it's like only a certain amount of people are approved every year? Like you got to wait your turn because we're just getting too overpopulated.
That's some China stuff right there. Because I don't know if China still does it or not, but they're only allowed to have. I don't know if that's still a thing or not.
I don't think it's still a thing anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say used to.
It used to. Yeah.
They would. So China would only be allowed to have one child per household, I believe, or per family.
But that was a detrimental thing.
Okay.
I mean, this is look. You either get your license and you can have as many kids you want, or you don't get a license, you can't have kids. The whole China thing, it was such a controversial thing because it was found out that once they found out that they were having like a female, they would either go to some underground doctor for like an abortion, or they would see the baby out, but then do something bad to where the baby wouldn't make it. Because they really, really wanted a male because, just in that Chinese cultural sense, they needed a male to like, carry the family on and stuff like that.
Yeah. So look, I know this is a good topic, man. It really is. Because also I think that with you controlling it, like, okay, maybe this is your year for this next 365 days, you and your wife or spouse are allowed to have children.
Yeah.
Another thing is like, what if it's not our year and we have too much fun or whatever and things happen, right? Then we would actually have to like raise this child like in the back of the house. Like, hey, I want to make sure no one sees you, Bobby. and then you kind of have like this kind of
I don't
like,
think it works that way.
what do you mean?
I don't
It
think
would
it works
definitely
that
work like
way.
that.
No, because I mean, I think at the hospital you would have to show you proof. You're not
You
gonna.
would. Why would you go to the hospital? You've even seen like the pool things. Why would I want to risk having my kid taken away when I could just do some? I mean, it might hurt a lot more. It might be a lot.
So
more
what you're saying is
insanitary.
to have the kid in like your bathtub with no one knowing.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
people still do this today. You know that, right?
Well, I mean, not with no one knowing. I mean,
You might have like close friends, like hey, keep this a secret.
how is it gonna get a social security number?
And that's why it might not get one because of the fact that
There's
I
no
have
way.
them on my
There's
off
no
year.
way. That means they can never get a driver's license.
And maybe.
if
And
you
that
don't
might be
show
like that
if
might
you
be a
don't show
risk
proof of
see,
identification,
that might be a risk that families might want to take in this world,
there's no way. That would literally ruin the kid's life.
or have them killed or taken away.
I think you're missing the point here.
Look.
You would literally ruin the kid's life and force the kid to live like Anne Frank in secrecy.
Yeah.
All right, and it wouldn't make sense because then even if the kid does get found out and get taken away, you're still ruining the kid's future because now the kid's like living with a broken family,
Yeah.
in the foster system, whatever. It wouldn't work that way.
So, which one would you take?
Of what?
You're having a kid, and on your off year, what are you doing? See, that's what I'm saying.
Then you get penalized.
Oh, okay.
You take a penalty.
Okay.
I mean, obviously you're not just gonna
Yeah.
do something crazy. But
Look, I've seen like this whole Social Security stuff. Like I've seen it been worked out from like fake people have
what
passed
if
away.
like what if like you're not eligible to make money on your income tax, or you have to forfeit your entire income tax, or you pay double taxes at the end of the year or something like that? I don't know.
Which like for normal households about like $2,000, $3,000. So it's like it's not that bad. I mean, I don't know if it's per year or something.
No, just that 1 year. Like let's say you forfeit your entire income tax, then you got to pay like an extra, I don't know, 5K fine.
Okay, that's a lot, but
It's a lot, but it's there to deter you.
well, look, I mean, that's interesting. I mean, I can see this being a movie. Like, okay, this is not a year. Like, what if it's like the alphabet? Like, oh, A's through M's can have children.
Because
this year.
then it takes away from the basis of the reason why me and my coworker thought about this with bad parenting and kids. So it's just at this point everyone can still have a baby. It's just about when you can have it based off of what scenario.
Well, I mean, this one that we just put out right now has more to do with population control rather than bad parenting. Mm-hmm. So it's like if it's your year, you can do it. If not, it's not. Just to minimize.
Which I think bad parenting is the more major concern, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd agree.
At this point in time.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's something that we should look more into rather than limiting the amount of children or when to have a child. I agree.
Anyways, I think we're just going to keep disagreeing on this. Let's just get on to the next topic.
Yeah.
Let's just get on to it.
Next topic. This is a good one. I like
Yeah. Sports players. All right. We all know sports players are super famous. They're in the limelight.
Yeah.
They're basically idols and role models of kids all around the world,
Yes.
young and old.
Yes.
And they get paid exuberant amount of money.
Yes.
I mean, insane amount of money. I mean, look at the whole NFL draft.
Yes.
NFL draft. It's basically anyone who gets drafted in the first round, instant millionaires.
Really?
Instant millionaires. Absolutely.
Just because, or just because they're in the NFL, or is it some NFL or some drafting that they have to? I don't.
No. It's just because they know that if they're not paid millions, there's gonna be a team out there that will pay them millions.
Okay.
They're going to get $1 million contract.
Okay.
They will.
And it's NFL, so surely I'm sure there's very few players that get paid under $1 million, or maybe there's a lot.
So actually, the league minimum in the NFL I think is $400,000.
Okay.
But it's $400,000 a year. But however, if you're drafted in the first round, you're guaranteed $1 million contract.
Okay.
Anyways, my point is, these players get paid an insane amount of money. Do they? I mean, think about it. They're just providing entertainment. They're just really good at their job, right? I mean, I don't even want to call it a job. I mean, look, I do like sports. First off, I do like sports. I like watching football, soccer, Formula One, boxing. I like watching it. So, I mean, I do like watching it. But at the end of the day, they're just providing entertainment.
Exactly.
And they're just... I mean, they're just good at their hobby. It's a hobby. It's not really a job.
So what it really is, man, what it really is, and it might be unfortunate to say, they're just business investments. That's all it is. advertisements, jerseys,
Okay.
products, clothing, accessories, Adidas.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we're going to sign Lionel Messi because he did this much for his team last year. He's on the on the limelight. Let me put a T-shirt with his name on it. Let me
So
give him some boots.
let's put it this way: what good does it do?
For the Adidas,
No, what good does the player do for anything?
he makes a lot of money for these companies.
He makes money for these companies.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the dark truth, right? This is like
No, I mean, look, don't get me wrong. Like, I get what you're saying. I
Yeah.
understand it, but I mean, my point is, they're not doing anything of true value. Let's put it this way: if sports completely went away,
Yeah.
all of a sudden tomorrow there's no more sports. Yeah, we'd all get pissed,
Yeah.
or at least a lot of people would get pissed.
Yeah.
But the world would still go on.
Oh, and that goes the same for a lot of things.
I don't think it really does. I think sports is one of those things where it really doesn't provide any value except entertainment. And at the end of the day, what is entertainment? It's really just something there just to keep us interested in our downtime.
Okay, what
Nothing
about music?
more. What about music?
Same thing.
Music, I don't think music. I think the same thing. I think
Okay.
music, they shouldn't get paid that much money either.
Okay, what about? Okay, well, music's a little different. As
Yeah,
far as
music
payment
is a little
goes.
different because they're actually making a product.
Right. So, what about? Let's get into architecture. Is there anything actually valuable in architecture?
Absolutely. I 100% do believe so. They are creating a building that not only looks nice but is structurally sound to withstand, gale force winds.
Okay, that's more like engineering, I think.
I mean, but they still have to design something within a code.
Yeah, but you're right. I just think that.
Or, I mean,
Then why
regardless,
make it fancy then? Why
regardless,
just-
I think we're getting away from the topic of
'Cause,
sports
like,
players.
I'm talking about the art of things, right? So music, sports, architecture, the art.
I think architecture is in its own different realm of something else, of like an actual job, of an actual career. So I don't
'Cause
think architecture should even be.
I think the way that people can express themselves. So obviously in sports, when I see my favorite player or sports team perform well, it gives me happiness.
Right, but it's just entertainment.
It could be whatever it wants, but it makes me happy, right? So it's like, there's also drugs out there that can make people happy.
Yeah,
But for me, it's sports. Or in this
a
example,
lot of
it's-
people. Yeah,
for a lot of people, sports. Like, so the trade-off there is way healthier. And you're saying that's like momentarily, okay, you'll be happy
like,
now.
I'm not saying I think you're missing the point. I'm not saying sports players should not exist at all. I'm just saying, what if they get a cap of like 400,000 a year? Instead of the minimum being 400,000, why not just the cap be 400,000 a year?
Okay, so why cap them?
Look, I see what you're saying. Why cap them? Because I mean, also, look, I just don't think there should be that much money going into so actually the NFL is actually a $1 billion industry.
I believe it.
I don't think it should be.
It's a business, man. Just
Yeah,
like
no, I get that, but I mean that money is going into nothing, in my opinion.
well, the $1 billion is not for all the players. It's
Obviously,
it's more for like products and
Obviously.
stuff like that, and
I get
seats
that,
and stadiums and ticket sales and season sales and stuff like that. So like, it's very much a business, just like McDonald's is.
Okay, so let's put it
but,
this way.
well, they
Why
feed
not
you.
have it to where, look, I mean, obviously still take a profit. Obviously they should, all the companies should still
sure.
take a profit. But it gets to a point to where, because they get labeled as, a sports entertainment thing, once they get so much profit, they're forced to give up all the remaining profit to charities.
So another
Think about it.
Sure. I mean, charities is good, and I don't. What was the cap at? I'm sorry.
Let's say per team.
Per team.
Yeah, per
so
team.
like. So.
So there's 32 teams in the NFL.
Oh, NFL.
Yeah, I'm just, for example, because we're in the U.S., football is pretty damn popular.
Yeah.
And that's the only sport that I know that's a $1 billion industry.
Okay.
So let's just say per team, the team can profit. Look, I don't want to be stingy about it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get like a kind of how serious or how strict is this going to
So
be?
okay, let's put it this way. Yeah, so this is the strictness. So players get capped out $400,000, and that you're already shaking your head.
Because that's the minimum right now in the NFL.
That's the minimum. Yeah. So they get capped out at $400,000 a year. I mean, let's face it. I mean, school teachers do more good than that.
Look, so okay, I'll let you finish.
I mean, school teachers do so much good, and yet look how they're paid. I mean, look, granted, yes, they do get an entire summer off. They get a whole lot of off time, all holidays, mid-semester break, winter break. They do get a lot of days off. But at the end of the day, they're still providing a good, wholehearted service.
Absolutely.
When in sports, they work, even if you make playoffs, 35 or 30 weeks a year, and they get paid Floyd Mayweather, how many fights, and he made like $100 million.
Well, so it's not jump sports just because it's a little harder to like.
You're right. Okay, so let's say I don't know who the highest paid person in the NFL is.
Looks like Dak Prescott for $107 million.
Okay, so let's say he makes playoffs and he works for a total of 30 weeks.
Yeah.
In the year, and he made how much money?
107.
$107 million.
So it's about $3 or so million per month. No,
that's insane.
No. Per you said weeks?
Yeah.
Oh, per week. I'm sorry. About or 2.5 per week.
So he has $160 million. He has a $160 million deal off of 4 years. So it's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, he's making what, $40 million a year.
Yeah.
So he's making $40 million a year.
1.7 per week or something. What is it?
I don't know, but $40 million a year. Let's say he works 30 weeks out of the year. That is insane.
1.1 or something.
That is insane.
Per week.
For only working 30 weeks out of the year.
Look, it is insane. Yes, it is.
And I'm almost disgusted that you're trying to defend them.
Look, so football, I don't know so much. It's just in the United States. For the most part, it's just in the United States. So,
it's almost even worse in soccer, though, isn't it?
Oh, the highest is Ronaldo and Messi, and just a little over, which is actually kind of crazy, honestly. At least this is on Forbes.com.
Okay.
Messi, number 2 in the world, at 130.
130. Okay. And off of how many years? Because that's really what it comes down to. Because I mean, Dak Prescott was over 4 years, so he's making $40 million a year.
I believe it's just per year. I don't see the contract here. I don't know what site you're on. But look,
Ronaldo is set to earn $125 million before taxes for the 21-22 season.
Yeah. I see.
Wow. It's even worse than soccer. And I like soccer a lot more than football, but golly, there's a problem somewhere.
I don't know if it's worse just because of the amount of people it reaches, though. Soccer football in the world obviously reaches way more people than NFL does. But look,
yeah,
the good I see in it, though, man. Look, it's hard to explain. I mean, you're a fanboy of sports as well, and your team.
I like sports. Yeah, I like sports.
So you know the joy it gets you. Look, for example, F1 when you wake up at 6 a.m. or whenever you're at work, or when you watch the highlights or replays, that kind of bubbly feeling, right? That kind of warmth.
Yeah.
Like,
ooh, man, I get excited.
Let's see what's up. You hear the commentators, your favorite commentators, they start saying what they always say. And
you're right.
So, and it's a feeling. First of all, it's hard to explain, right? Like, there's nothing quite that really imitates that. I can't really name anything else. Maybe winning the lottery, perhaps. But see, look, the fact that we've been comparing it to winning the lottery. Okay. First,
that's you comparing it.
Okay, yeah. The lottery.
You.
The lottery would get me crying and screaming.
Yeah, don't even try making that comparison.
But, I mean, what's something that can get you feeling like that? I mean, this is off topic. Maybe buying new car parts or
car parts. Yeah, I mean, I like.
But you're paying for them, so that's like the downfall, right? Unless you get it for free, like a raffle for car parts on Instagram or something like that.
I don't know, a promotion or raise.
So look, the fact that brings you some sort of joy, man. For free at any time you want. It's hard to compare. As well as yes, these guys get paid a lot, but also they do have a lot of charities. They do also give a lot of things out.
Some of them do.
Some of them do, for the most part. I hope that these top 10 or whatever are here.
So that's my point, though. That was exactly what I said. They can only profit so much to where they're forced to give the other profits to charities.
Okay, so at this point, Cristiano Ronaldo would
Yeah.
be giving $119.6 million out.
Look, I told you this only for football because I'm
so
we're in the
Dak
U.S.
Prescott-
Yeah.
Dak Prescott.
Well, no, he wouldn't be getting all that money.
I know he would only get
He'd
400,000.
only get 400,000, and
So that means, so you're saying,
I'm saying the team as a whole.
okay, so how much is from the team?
I actually never finished what I was going to say earlier. So what I was going to say earlier was the team can profit. Let's say the team can profit because look, I get it. They still have to make a profit because they still have their own upkeep and everything.
Yeah.
Let's say the team can profit $50 million.
Okay.
So the team as a whole can profit $50 million, and everything after $50 million, they have to give up to
So
charities.
then it's just literally a business corporation. It literally just is.
What do you mean?
The only reason
Look, I mean, the NFL is a business. Like, sports is a business.
It
We
is.
get that. But, I mean, it's a business that contributes nothing. At least real businesses provide products, provide services that actually help people do things rather than just provide entertainment and make people clap and stand up.
I agree, but to a certain extent, even these players, I mean, in their countries, respective countries, I'm sure there's taxes where, like, they,
I mean, look, we're just talking NFL.
Okay, so NFL. In the United States, when you make a certain amount of money, there's taxes, right?
Yep.
So to avoid those taxes, you have to, invest or give away into charities or make your own charities and type of thing. So that already some of them do,
some of them are greedy.
Or they just pay taxes. I mean, you have to pay taxes in this country, but there's leeways to where like you invest in corporation or in charities or give money away to charities. So in the United States, they're kind of already that kind of checks and balances.
I'm actually kind of glad you brought this point up.
Yeah.
And the reason why I actually wanted to bring up this topic was because what I'm about to say, if I can find it in my notes, because I actually wrote down some notes about this.
Yes.
So this was a report in 2009. Okay. So it's kind of dated a little bit,
12,
but it's still kind of relevant.
Okay.
And this was specifically about the NFL.
Okay.
So the average length of an NFL player is between 3 to 4 seasons before they get kicked out, just because there's just so many people going in and out, right?
3 to 4 seasons.
You either make it or you don't, right?
Okay.
So about 3 to 4 seasons is about the average.
Okay.
Why is it that 78%, mind you, the minimum is 4? So let's just say you make the minimum
3,
right? Let's say you do 3 years, and you only get paid the minimum, 400,000.
Okay.
So 78% of former players have either gone bankrupt or are under financial stress within retirement of the NFL.
I believe it.
That's insane.
That is crazy.
That's insane. So
there's also no sport quite as physical as the NFL and dangerous.
What does that have to do with your money?
Well, obviously, if you, for example, bang your head really hard in a game and you're out for...
No, but that's the thing, though. The NFL pays for all your medical.
No, I'm not even talking about medical.
Okay.
I'm talking, the team doesn't want you anymore, right? Like you might have a concussion, you're a liability now.
Okay, but regardless, once you're in the NFL... The NFL, it's actually a part of your contract. The NFL will cover your entire medical expenses for the rest of your life.
Medical yet. Hold up.
Okay.
So your medical's covered. That's besides the point. I'm sure it's expensive. But now this team doesn't want you. The Bengals don't want you anymore, right?
All right.
So you're a free transfer, but that honestly just means you're retired now. Like you're not going to do anything.
Okay.
No team is going to take you. Like that's what I'm saying.
What's your point?
What are you going to do after that?
You go get a regular job.
First of all,
you went to college.
You did, but when you go to football, when you go to NFL, your kind of degree doesn't.
But that's on them for choosing a stupid degree.
So that's the thing. So that's the thing. So in this guy's example, this player's example, now they have to go find like a banking job, an accounting job, but their head's all messed up, and they have to go to sleep like by 8 p.m. They have to take these meds. So you see what I'm saying? Like
I don't look. I think you're making a ridiculous situation.
That happens a lot.
I think you're making this a ridiculous situation.
That happens a lot though.
78%.
Okay, I'm not saying all
78%.
I'm not saying all.
No, this comes down to bad money management. And I'm actually glad you brought this up because I actually wrote down specific situations.
Oh yeah, and I believe it. I'm not saying that's all.
For example, Michael Vick went bankrupt after his whole dog fighting circuits. He actually went bankrupt because he actually had to pay back all the money he made with the Falcons because of it.
Oh,
The judge actually ruled that. Vince Young, he signed a $25 million contract with the Tennessee Titans.
yeah,
Once he retired, filed for bankruptcy.
yeah.
Warren Sapp, legendary defensive tackle, played 13 years in the NFL. In his 13 years, he made around $40 million. Ended up filing for bankruptcy in 2012.
Yeah.
And this just
Yeah,
doesn't even.
I'm sure it does.
I mean,
but
the list goes on and on
what's the
and
point
on
then?
of people making $40 million, $20 million, ridiculous amount of money, and it's almost like you give these people so much money that they don't know what to do with it, to where they blow it on everything, file for bankruptcy. So stop paying them all this money if they're going to waste it on complete crap, and cap them out at $400,000. Teach these players the value of a dollar, and give the rest to charity. Versus
that's up to the player though. That's I mean, if you
versus
go for,
spending it on crap that literally turns into bankruptcy.
if you were my player, if you played on my team, I could care less what you spend it in after you retire. I don't care about you.
I mean, and think
Is
about
that true or false?
think about the people that are living paycheck to paycheck, seeing
That's
these
not my
people and
business.
just getting
That's-
disgusted.
That's not up to me, the head coach of or head manager of the Cowboys. I don't care about that.
What? I don't think you finished your sentence.
No, I don't care about those people that are living a paycheck to paycheck. If I'm the head whatever of Cowboys,
Exactly, and that's
You're
the problem. And that's the problem. It should be that money should be given to charity, to where those people can actually manage the money and do good with it. Versus
how do
someone.
you know? How do you know those people? See,
It's a charity.
You're more mad or you're more bothered by these insanely rich, wealthy athletes not being able to finance their lives more than the amount that they're making just because they're athletes. Is that fair to say?
No. I mean, look, I will say I am angered that they don't know how to manage their money.
Sure.
But I hate the fact that they get paid this exuberant amount of money and they don't actually truly provide a service that actually benefits anyone.
We could get into actors as well.
Yeah, and I think they shouldn't get paid that much money either. I really don't think they
We
should.
can get into a lot of things.
Yeah.
Look, man, I think with athletes, so I guess it might be an NFL thing. Is that as far as I know, in the world of soccer, football, that doesn't really happen. There's some cases, Adriano, the Brazilian, that got into like gangs in Brazil and stuff like that. Sure, I'm sure there's several cases like that. But for the most part, retired soccer players, as far as I know, tend to do pretty well. So I don't know if it's maybe a cultural thing.
Could be a cultural thing.
I don't know, maybe. So that's why I think it's just kind of like I see what you're saying, but it might not mean much in the grand scheme of things as far as sports go. But look, for these businesses, for these teams, these countries,
So
PSG.
So just for example, I mean not for example, but so just saying, you are saying teams should not be giving away their excess profits to charities, and they should be pocketing every single dollar of it. And it is okay to be paying all these players $150, $160 million a year.
I don't think it's okay, but that's just kind of how capitalism works.
That's disgusting.
So
I'm a little disgusted in you for defending it.
I just explained it. I didn't defend it. I said that's just how capitalism
I
works.
think you're defending it. That's disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Look, you have to. I mean, okay, and you have to put yourself in their shoes. Nike, let's say Nike, right, and
Okay.
PSG. I know for a fact if PSG couldn't afford Messi or Lionel Messi, one of the biggest players in world football today,
It's
Nike
Adidas does Messi.
I'm sorry.
Adidas does Messi.
You're right. The boots, but the team.
Okay.
So the team is partnered with PSG. Nike's with PSG. So I'm sure Nike themselves saw this as a business move
Surely.
to help sign Messi. Purely business. They don't really care about how many scores they're going to score. Whatever. He doesn't even wear his boots, as you mentioned right now. He wears Adidas boots. But for him to be scoring in the Nike jersey and having the badge there, it's a lot of money. And then the Jordan with the whole...
I think that's disgusting.
So-
I hate the Jordan jerseys.
That's just purely a business move, man. Purely a business move.
I get that. Yeah.
So the whole thing of it's the players, this and that, this and that. No, look, they made that. First of all, they're honestly, I mean, obviously they're really good, for them to be in this position, right? So they worked themselves up to this position that they deserve to be in that position. Now, how much they make? Look, man, I don't know. I don't have a cap. I don't have a cap. Not that there's no cap, but I just don't have a number just because. Look, every time there's a cap, it's pushed forward, and that's going to be maybe forever. It's every 5 years there's always new transfers, whatever this happens, whatever. I just don't think there should be a cap because, I mean, first of all, the companies don't care. They don't care about this. It's purely business, man. It might be a little sick, yeah. Okay, this company made this much, and they gave zero to this charity, whatever. Look, I get it, but
I think, I mean, you keep saying put it as business. I mean, I understand 100% that it's business.
Yeah,
I get that.
Yeah,
but my point is, they don't deserve to be making X amount of millions of dollars a year. It just doesn't make sense.
So you're against capitalism?
Yeah, I've said that before. I'm sure I have.
I don't know. Maybe I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a better way. I don't know if it's any of the ways that even exist today, but surely there's a better way. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do think capitalism does have its pros here and there of promoting competition here and there, but surely there's got to be a better form of economics.
So I mean, this would go into the richest people in the world today as well as Elon Musk. I feel like we mentioned him in every episode, but
yeah, but
Elon
I mean,
Musk
at least they actually have it on their sheets that they actually give to charities.
Because they are in the United States.
Well, I don't know if they are or not, but
I mean, Elon Musk, or what is that what we were talking about?
Yeah, I mean,
so he gives to charities, but that's just because to avoid taxes and stuff.
Yeah, and he does avoid. Oh, actually, he did actually open up and say he did pay his taxes.
Million, or what was it?
There was, I don't know. There was some politician that made some claim.
Yeah.
That he didn't pay his taxes, but he was like, "Excuse me, lady, I actually did pay my taxes. I actually paid this much this year in taxes."
I saw that.
But,
but okay, sure. Okay, so you're just limiting to this athletes, not necessarily.
I'm limiting it to athletes,
businessmen, I guess.
Because I told you in the beginning, at least those businesses are actually providing a product and actually providing a service that is actually useful.
So just because these athletes aren't making vehicles or something else,
because they're not actually providing something useful, they don't deserve what they're getting.
Interesting. This kind of sounds like a salty position. Like the fact that this guy can dribble a basketball down the court.
I'm not saying he doesn't have the ability to get rich, because I mean, $400,000, you're making great money.
Yeah, but
you're making fantastic money.
For us in our plebbery,
$400,000 in any country is great money.
Yes, but in the world
I
of
can
sports
guarantee,
like this,
I mean, go look up. I mean, I'm not talking about world. All right. I mean, like I did just mention world. I just mentioned world in any country, but specifically for the NFL, you can make a fantastic living for your family and your generation and your whole generational family with $400,000 a year.
I agree.
I mean, and that's just their salary. I mean, even in the NFL, that's just their salary that they mention. There's bonuses on top of bonuses on top of bonuses. Like, if Dak Prescott, you throw 30 touchdowns this year, we'll also throw in an extra $10 million a year. They have so many different incentive bonuses. Yeah, they have massive incentive, like Antonio Brown. The whole thing about him, walking off the field and everything. Supposedly, I think the story behind it was that they didn't play him enough because they didn't want to pay out his $10 million worth of bonuses that he would have got if he did play like one extra game.
Oh, true. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't really follow NFL, but I did see that, and I didn't know that was the reason. I don't know if that was.
Well, supposedly that was like the background reason, that he had $10 million of bonuses that he would have got if he would have played one more game, and he blamed it on the team for not playing him enough, and that's why he granted he did have a lot of cuckoo crazy moments throughout his entire career, but maybe that was just one of the things that just irked him in the brain to where he just flipped the switch.
Yeah, I would have done the same thing, honestly, for $10 million. For not, I don't know if the team, that doesn't really sound. That kind of sounds like it's a rigged kind of. Mm-hmm. Hey, you know what? I just don't play him this last 2 games. I don't know. That doesn't really sound like a good contract that he signed, but whatever. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. This is a tough one because I see what your position is, and I think there's some reasoning behind it. I think 400,000 is not quite there, just because.
Look, I mean, I didn't say. Look, I think their salary gets capped at 400,000, and I mean, they could still get bonuses. They still get their
Surely, I mean, obviously, they won't be even near to the millions that they're at now. They'll be
nowhere
maybe
near
like
the millions
4 or 5
with an S.
max.
They still get their bonuses. They still get their sponsors. I mean, look. I mean, they still get their sponsorships. I mean, look at Gronk. Gronk said that he's actually never spent a single dollar from his salary, and up until so this was like an interview from like 2 or 3 years ago, and Gronk has been in the league for a long time. He said he's never spent a single dollar from his actual salary, and the entire money that he's been living off of was money from sponsorships.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're getting paid too much money.
I don't know how much money that is. I'm sure it's a lot. But then again, it's like anyone can say that, really. Any sportsman can say that, hey, thus far. I mean, no one really spends, for example, Kevin Durant, off the field, so from sponsorships and all this stuff, he makes $44 million.
Okay.
Or he made
Disgusting.
$44 million.
Yep.
He made $31 million from the team of the Nets. So anyone can just really say, those 44, I've only been spending that. So it's sure, you can take that with a grain of salt.
I mean, what I was alluding to was, look, 400,000 is their cap on salary.
Yeah.
Obviously, they can still make their bonuses. They can still make the sponsorship money. So they'll still be making.
But how much is
more than that?
I don't know. I mean, obviously for Kevin Durant's $44 million, which is way more than
It's
400,000.
insane.
I doubt he'd be paid that much if his salary cap was just 400,000.
I mean, well, I think he would get paid some amount because some company. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still capitalism.
Sure, yeah.
Between real businesses that actually make products.
Yeah.
So I mean, whatever those sponsorships want to pay out, then that's fair game.
Yeah. Look, do they provide a service? Do sports provide a service, a real life service? No, not like a physical, tangible.
Nothing. They wear a jersey that you see, and you're like, oh, okay, you paid $90 for that.
But in the world of happiness and joy, I mean, it's priceless. So that's kind of my point. Is like, look, man, of course.
Look, I didn't say completely eliminate sports.
Oh no, yeah. You're just saying. But then, how much do you think it'll affect the amount of kids wanting to become athletes?
I think it wouldn't affect it at all.
Oh, you don't?
I don't think it would affect it at all.
It really come down to, look, because a lot of these players that don't get these advertising deals, which is probably a lot of them. I'm sure most of the people on the Bucks, is that, or was it Tom Brady and Gronk play? What is it? Bucks? No, Chiefs.
Bucks.
Oh, Bucks.
Yeah.
The Buccaneers. I'm sure basically the whole team gets no money from Nike, Adidas, Under Armour advertisement deals.
But they got a whole lot more fans. I can guarantee you they increased their fan base getting Gronk and Tom Brady.
I'm talking about the other players besides those two.
What do you mean the other players?
The other football players on that team.
They get the wide receivers. I can guarantee you they probably each got 2 touchdowns more a year, making them look better. They got more yards.
The amount of money that they're making outside of the team. I don't think they're getting. I don't think Nike's looking for Philip Lewell, the wide receiver, to do a advertisement for us. I don't think so. It really come down to like 10, 15 players per sport that would be getting this advertising money.
I don't understand what your point is.
So they would just be making that 400,000.
Okay.
So I'm saying that a lot of little kids growing. I mean, look, not a lot of kids are like, I want to make a lot of money, becoming a soccer player. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is like, hey, you know what, Sean, you're really freaking good at soccer, man. Like, I want you to get you a full ride to XYZ University for a soccer degree or career. But now you gotta say, okay, do I want to do that and focus on soccer? It is my passion, but there is a limit at 400,000. I won't make much unless I get.
You're making a lot more than every single job in the U.S.
Or I could do something that I really want to do, but it's not gonna make much. Or I might make something close to it, maybe like a software engineer or cyber engineer.
So great, you're entering the workforce and doing something that actually means something.
Okay,
That's great.
Sure.
All right, man. I think we just wrap it up right there.
That's a tough one. Look, man, good episode. I think should parents get certificates, licenses to have children? You say no. I'm sorry. You say yes.
I said yes. Yes,
I
do.
say
they should.
no because, well, first of all, there's not like no strong argument for or tangible way to get these parents to do a test that would eliminate or pass the right people or wrong people. Do athletes get paid too much?
I think absolutely yes.
Okay, I say yes, but not. I wouldn't say I would limit.
And there needs to be something done about it.
They're also not doing any wrong to everybody else.
I mean, they're not doing wrong to anyone else. They're just to themselves,
Yeah,
which is a damn shame.
That's a shame. Yeah, I'll give you that. It's a shame. That wraps up episode 9.
Wraps it up. You got any final words, final thoughts? You want to get off your chest? You got anything? I know I don't.
I don't. This is a World Cup year. So also the African Cup started today.
That's interesting. I actually really like those African games.
Yeah.
Just because you just never know what's gonna happen.
Unfortunately, there's only no channels that show them though.
No, there are not.
Yeah. So it's like
you usually got to get the highlights off of YouTube.
Yeah. Well, all right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Episode 9. Please tune in next week. We're working on something special for you guys. Hopefully everything works out well.
Yeah.
And check us out. Please. Also, if you, I don't know if anybody will see this, but if anyone has maybe a topic that they want us to, fight over, discuss over, explain, or understand, please just let us know in the comments. Don't be shy. Drop it down. We'll like it, comment back, and we'll.
And not only that, stuff that you thought, you wanted to argue about. The topics in all these episodes. I mean, please get in there. We want to hear it.
Yeah, or maybe something we barely missed and we kind of wanted us to touch on. Sure, why not? But besides that, nope. You guys have a great day, night, afternoon, weekend, week, year. Cheers and good night.
Cheers. Good night. I'm Sean.
My name's Osel.
And